Professor Sune, thank you very much for your time. Now, firstly, can you give us an overview of the political climate in Japan at the moment? It doesn't seem like things are looking very well for Mr. Koizumi.
Yes, present situation is very bitter for him because so many political turmoils, including many leading politician resignations, and also still ongoing scandals, and also in the area of economic policy, Mr. Koizumi took so-called soft landing policy in this year. But so many economists discussing about whether or not it's effective or not. That is one of the issues. So situation right now is not like 1 year ago.
Well, 1 year ago, he had an incredible support rate.
About more than 80% supporting rate.
That's right, and now that has fallen below 50%. Now, influential lawmakers, as you have said, Professor Sune, in particular, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party have been hit by money and other scandals. But key and controversial bills are or will be taken up in Parliament.
Yes, now we have to discuss particularly the emergency defending bill. That is when Japan will be attacked by some country, how to deal with the domestic dealing of the safety of Japanese people. And that kind of a discussion is now started from yesterday. But this is one of the important bill. Some other bill like postal service, integration of postal service, and also so many other important bills on the table. So now we have to discuss this matter, the latter part of this the diet session.
Yes, what's interesting is that there are mixed reactions from the opposition parties about these bills, and also members within the ruling parties are also opposing some of the bills. So it certainly sounds like we have a lot to look forward to. Now, in particular, Mr. Koizumi looks set to enact a set of bills which include one that would allow the private sector to offer mail delivery services. And many lawmakers continue to express reservations, including many of those in Mr. Koizumi's LDP. So how will Mr. Koizumi pursue enactment of these bills?
Yes, this is the most interesting part of this parliamentary session. That bill is a quite unusual procedure. The process is one of the important. So what is the important part of the process? Normally, Japanese government bill, prior to the submit to the parliament, the cabinet asks some approval from the LDP. That kind of the long traditional part of the Japanese politics. But Koizumi skipped that process. Therefore, this is a quite unusual, extraordinary process right now. And the other part is who deal this bill. Leaders of the LDP or Mr. Koizumi's leadership and other core part of the conservatives in the LDP, who can lead the process? That is the second question. So, other issue of this bill is this really deregulation? That is a quite large question. I think it's a deregulation. A deregulation of the postal service. So therefore, many delivery companies really hesitating to join the market. So they really avoid the involvement.
Key element of
the bill. That's right.
And what do you think will happen in concern these bills?
50-50. Because the content of the bill is not so straightforward.
That's right.
But other is the process. That many core part member of the conservative part of the LDP, they are still questioning about the process. So therefore, Koizumi cannot handle that part. Therefore, the stagnation of the process. Maybe that is the quite foreseeable future of right now we are discussing the defense matter, but later we'll discuss about the postal service.
Now, what about the bills that are currently being discussed in Parliament? It's a very, very controversial law that we may be enacting in the future.
Particularly that defense matter, that is quite important. Particularly the quite a long history in Japanese politics. We have some vacuum. Constitution and war period, and we have cannot handle these the vacuum area. Therefore, the Japanese Defense Agency is trying to prepare for that matter for about 20 years. So now the Parliament is discussing about that matter, but there are still the questionable part.
Right. Well, on Monday, discussions in Parliament focused on what defines a military attack. And it kind of sounded like nobody really knew how to define for direct military attack. So it seems like there are lots of questions that there are lots of issues that need to be debated in Parliament.
Right. I think there are two groups, particularly in the opposition parties. The one group is the Social Democratic Party and the Communist Party. They are totally they criticize that bill. That is the one group. But other group is the Liberal Party and the Democratic Party. Particularly, Democratic Party is one of the most important part of this processing of the argument in the diet. If Democratic Party accept some kind of amendment of the bill, they will vote for the bill.
Yes, it certainly sounds like they will, and of course the Communist parties and the Social Democratic Party strongly opposed to the bill. Now, meanwhile, the opposition parties look set to grill the LDP for tainting public trust in politics in Parliament. In fact, opposition parties said they will boycott discussions in Parliament unless Parliament addresses the issue of lawmaker Neo Suzuki, who's hit by scandals.
Yes, this is a kind of bargain. If you accept the Suzuki Muneo the grill, and they will join the discussion of the defense bill. If you not accept that kind of things, the opposition party will do some other things. So that's kind of a process of a political bargain. So the opposition party's strategies are very limited. So this is one of the tools to live up their influence.
Boycotting.
Yeah, boycotting.
Now, Japan has earlier enacted the anti-terror law in response to the terrorist attacks on the United States in September, and how Japan will act in a national emergency has been subject of major debate in recent months. Meanwhile, LDP Secretary General Takuya Masaki met with Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat last week, and he expressed a hope to play an active role in promoting the Middle East peace process. Well, exactly what kind of role will Japan be expected to play?
The Middle East is one of the largest world political issue. Yet, the Japanese law is very limited. So the Middle East question is particularly, it's a great influence for the United States politics. Okay. But Japanese can play a very limited and specified area. But other areas, for instance, Mrs. Kawaguchi visited to Afghanistan and some other areas. So that area, that regions, Japan's contribution is better than other. So Japanese law is very specified and very important region and area. So division of labor is necessary in this kind of international politics.
So do you think that Japan's best way of extending support to, for example, the Palestinians will be offering financial aid?
Yes, financially, yes, but Japan is really avoid difficulties and the complexity of that area. Some reason exists here. For instance, religious kind of conscious, and also oil matter is important, but Japanese the past government policy is how to avoid the complexity of that conflict.
I see. Now, lastly, Professor Sone, what has become of Mr. Koizumi's promised structural reforms?
Yes. Although Mr. Koizumi is still trying to find some short-term structural reform plan, including tax reform of the R&D, research and development and investment. But discussion is still ongoing. Mm-hmm. But I'm interested in the different political structural reform plan is that the reshuffle of cabinet. Reshuffle of cabinet is probably after this diet recession, not a little bit the future matter, but if Mr. Koizumi can handle both to set up the cabinet, and also he can nominate important person in order to do a structural reform, particularly in the LDP major positions. If he can do that kind of things, his popularity will recover and his structural reform can be seen fairly successful.
Now, do you think the reshuffle of the Koizumi cabinet is likely?
There are two different arguments. One is it's quite likely. The other idea is very difficult because some conservative group of the LDP want to reshuffle the cabinet. Therefore, Koizumi rejects that kind of request. But I think there are some room for Mr. Koizumi to do the structural, the reshuffle of the cabinet.
So you still have hope for the Koizumi administration?
Yeah.
I see. Thank you very much.